Good morning, small players. Happy Tuesday. Today is March the 8th. And let's see what oil did overnight. Yesterday, the majority of the stocks we were trading were some sort of energy stocks, small caps, because that's what we focus on. And they went absolutely parabolic. We had multiple stocks that doubled throughout the day yesterday. So it was a super fun day in the chat room, a lot of excitement. And, it's the type of stuff that makes you want to continue trading small caps. The first one today on the Gapper list is HYMC. This is a mining stock. So similarly to oil, a lot of let me just see, Lord, a lot of mining and other material stocks have been moving as well. So it's really, sort of like an industry move. So on this one, we could trade a break above VWAP. It went to 1 and above 1 today, so it has a lot of room to move. Not specifically interested in that at the moment, though. I'd wait for a break above VWAP. Next one is MULN, and we were trading this one yesterday, pretty much the entire day. It had quite the moves, and it's gapping up even more this morning, which I guess means that, oil had another move. This one is also not an oil stock specifically, but some sort of material, automotive maybe. Oops. So let's see, we have this level here. What is the high here? 114, and the low here, 113. Then we have this one, this one. Okay, so for this one, it already did a bounce on this level here, the flat top here, 114. So it also almost tested it twice. Like this could be considered one test, and then this is another. So I wouldn't trust that level again. VWAP's descending and it's resistance. So if it rejects VWAP and goes to test this level again, I'd wait for a drop to, could potentially find bottom on 1-1, but hopefully it'll drop more to like 105 or this level here, 103, or even 1. 1 is a big psychological level. So if it loses this level, we should wait for next level of support for bounce. Otherwise, for a breakout, create an alert. We could trade a break above VWAP again. It has a lot of rejections here in 128, so could be a little tricky. Right now there's like 5 cents room between VWAP and that. If we use EMA 20 as a stop, that's like 3 cents. So 3 cents risk versus 5 cents. That's too much of risk. So then we can use the high here, 121. So yeah, so that would be like 1.5 cents risk for 5 cents gain, and that would work. But then VWAP also is continuing to descend, so the lower VWAP gets, the lower that entry is, the more room there is to this level here. So that's a potential trade for me there. I'd wait until that, or I'd drop to a lower level of support. Then we have 9, and this one, we had a lot of fun with it yesterday. It had this double top in pre-market of 5. So we were hoping that, maybe it will, it'll break it to start squeezing out shorts. It did yesterday after hours. They had earnings and they got reported. Excuse me, they got reported after hours, so it had quite a parabolic move. Retail traders still could trade in that session, and actually a lot of the students stayed and traded it because we were watching it the whole day. So this morning we have a similar situation with this level here of 7.4. A lot of rejections, really like 7.35, but the high is 7.4. So a lot of rejections there. So if it breaks above that area, it could finally start squeezing out shorts. We can set an alert for break above 7.4. In reality, their stops could be above 7.5 because it's such a psychological level and it's close to this level. So we want to make sure we get, volume before we get right in. So you need something like this to show you. Outside of that, we can see that it has had some 5-minute flag breaks. Well, this one here was really a fake out, but this one worked out pretty well. So we could also keep a mind on those. And then the high here, 6.5, 6.5. So we could also trade a bounce of this 6.5 level or VWAP or a break above 7.5. So a lot of potential options out of all the stocks we saw this far. This is the most interesting one to me. So let's actually make the trade plan together. 6.5. What we can do? What is VWAP? 609. 689. You guys know this is what we do in the chat room. Make a little trade plan. Bounce on VWAP or break above higher day. So this is basically what, if you're a trader, you should do every morning. You go through your scanner that looks for whatever results you want to look for, whatever stocks you trade, whatever setups you have been successful in. And you go through all of them, you chart out the levels of support and resistance, and you make your trade plans based on those levels, and then you just wait for those levels to trigger before you take a trade. HUSA is another stock that we traded all day yesterday. It had quite a lot of moves. I'm gonna remove the levels because again we traded it the whole day, so there's way too many levels on that chart. So I'm just gonna mark out the most important ones that we could potentially get to today. You know, if we get all the way down here, that's support. This level here could serve as support, and this level here already did serve as support this morning. Then here is a lot of candles touching 12, so it seems to be a big area. And then today we have a double top here on 13. So it looks like on every full dollar it has resistances. I like this chart as well. So we could trade a bounce on 12, although it's tested once sort of, and now it's bouncing on VWAP, or a break above 13. So let's make the trade plan for break above 13. And it's right there, and then we're ready for it when it happens. We can set an alert, although you guys know in the pre-market session the alerts don't trigger. Thinkorswim only has these register during regular market hours, so we have to keep an eye on it. USWS is another stock that was moving a lot yesterday in the pre-market session. And the market session didn't have a lot, but it's another energy stock. It was on our watch list, but I personally didn't take any trades on it yesterday. This morning, though, it's definitely being loud and telling us to pay attention to it. So it looks like we'll take a trade on it today for sure. Right now we're having this pullback towards VWAP. We could trade a break bounce on VWAP. What is this level here? 267. Let's check the 1 minute chart. I was trying to find bottom now on EMA 20. We could actually trade it the first one with a candle to make a new high, which is this one right here. Just to confirm that it found bottom on EMA 20. So let's see, USVS 276. What is VWAP? 259, and then we have 280, 288, 28. Then USVS, we have TMC. Just go back to the 5-minute chart. What is this? Metals. Yet another commodity stock, I suppose we could call them. So on this one, we can just straight up break above VWAP. Nothing too interesting for me until then. I mean, what is a high here? 2. I guess if it bounces on 2, because it's psychological level 2, because it's a full dollar. If it was just a random high, I wouldn't have been that interested. But because it's 2, we could trade a bounce on 2 also. PNC. I just want to look at INDO, another stock we traded. But we've been trading this one a lot. But we were chatting yesterday about it. It's more expensive now. So we did trade it yesterday, but I took more trade on HUSA yesterday because it pretty much had the same moves, but it was cheaper. So we can keep an eye on. We can continue to keep an eye on INDO. You know, we have an emotional attachment to that stock at this point. We've been trading it for so long, but could be a little too expensive. And this morning doesn't even have a lot of volume, but set an alert for break above 70 to see if by then it picks up volume and starts squeezing out some shorts. So we can remove it from watch list. PLM, another mining stock. I'll just wait for break above VWAP on this one also. Another thing I have to say for all of these, a lot were under VWAP yesterday too, and as soon as they did break above it, they started having massive squeezes. So, you know, normally you expect to see some action like that on break above VWAP, but it was just so interesting that all of them had a very similar reaction. They all started halting. It was crazy. It was really a fun day in the chat room. So, so yeah, I'm excited for yet another day like that. This one has some very clear levels, so we could trade a bounce on this level of 8, maybe a little higher because VWAP's 4 cents higher. So, but definitely a bounce there. Or at this point, a 5-minute flag break. So, you know, it's sort of forming it now. I guess break above 9 is flag break. It has had a lot of rejections there, so I would really love for it to pull back. And let's make that trade plan so we don't forget about it. And it can literally be like $7.99. Or maybe this. I guess we can use this. $7.31. And then once it establishes 8 at support, we can lift the stop to 8. I have 8.3, 8.5, and 9. Yeah, that will make it too far. We can go back here to 7. So when setting up stop losses, we use levels on the chart that are obvious level of support, but then we also use psychological levels, which are full dollar, quarter, and half. Those levels are pretty big. So in this one, in an ideal world, we'd want this to be the stop, the EMA 20 line, and then we have this key level that was a flat top before. So, you know, right here. So it would be very nice to have a stop below 717 to sort of feel like you're not going to get stopped out in the trade, but that's too far, right? If my profits are here, here, and here, I can't have a stop here. I'm risking more to make less. So we have to lift the stop higher, and that's when psychological levels come handy. That's just something to note, though. Every time you use a higher level, your trade is riskier. But as stocks move higher like this, you sort of have to protect yourself, and that's why when the move is extended so much, that ends up being a riskier trade. Then we have AQMS. Same story here. We can just wait for a break above VWAP. Another interesting thing that happened yesterday, because all of these are moving in an industry move, and um, what could have happened is they could have all been moving at the same time, and then it makes it hard to trade all of them, so you try and pick and choose. But yesterday they really scaled in their parabolic moves. To be honest with you, they were not all moving at the same time. I mean, pretty much just INDO and HUSA were moving at the same time, which is why I ended up trading HUSA more, just because it was cheaper. But outside of that, they pretty much all scattered, and we could take advantage of all of them truly at some point at time. So it was again just a super fun day, another day that makes you love what you do. This one has a lot of rejections here on 24. So I'd wait for another break above that level for a trade. MARPS. Then we have AAU. This one is a little cheap for me, and there's so many stocks on the scanner today. I won't focus on this one, but this level of 45, if it breaks above that, it could start to move towards VWAP, and then break above VWAP could start to move towards high of day. So it has a lot of room. It's a nice chart. Just there's so many to trade to them. I don't have to trade a 40-cent stock. This one I don't love now. At this point, all of these are the volume's a little too low. So this is an interesting chart too. It's trying to break VWAP. It doesn't really have a spread, but it doesn't have that many shares being traded. So I wouldn't trade this pre-market yet. I'd want for it to pick up some more volume. Yeah, these we can, if they pick up volume, we can focus on them. Right now I don't want to waste my time because there's plenty with over 1 million shares traded so far. So I'd focus on those this morning for now. Okay, you guys, that's it for this morning. I hope to see you in the chat room, and happy trading.